The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The living room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked onto the true nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are.
Culture crazy. I
actually go to say that it is now 4:35 a.m. or something right here now. Let me kick before we go any further, let me kick this off as you always do, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, you must say thank you to those that went before us, and we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say it with the chest that Columbus lied, but also to our brother in music, Tony P, where the P this week stands for
Panorama. Aaron, how to go with Panorama? Have to. Sorry, you're putting too much work this weekend for me to not draw a reference. Like, this is an ode to Aaron this week.
You tried to trigger me. I was driving home Monday lunchtime. Because anyway, before we go any further, I want to say a special thank you to a dear friend of my family who opened the door to me on Sunday night and allowed me to stay up the road. Right? That's first and foremost. So when I was coming home on Monday, I saw some pans coming on the highway. Here now.
You started to tremble and...
Yeah, boy.
Wait, boy. Congratulations on a successful day. Giving you all the flowers in front, Aaron.
I don't think those congratulations can't go to me alone.
Hello, Marcus.
I'm not gonna say. And Marcus, who was battling the cold very badly on Sunday. I think he deserves more plaudits than me for Sunday, because to endure what he was enduring with his body and pull through that marathon, Marcus, hey, well done.
Yeah. Well done, sir. Well done, sir. To all the WAC subscribers who supported the pay-per-view, God bless your heart.
Yeah, right? Boy. And to all those who providing meaningful feedback and some not so meaningful feedback as well during the marathon shift. We thank you very much either way, because your comments gave us some valid talking points throughout the proceedings. And to those that wonder about the relationship between Kenny and no, this is a real serious thing. I want to get this out of the way one time. Kenny and I may not see eye to eye on a few things, right? But one thing Kenny and I see eye to eye on is the fact that we are passionate about the culture of Trinidad and Tobago. So pecan, as they say, is our love language, right? But yet still, amidst all the pecan, if you look at it, we both share the same message that the culture of Trinidad and Tobago needs to be preserved. It needs to be not protected, but projected. And it needs to be documented.
All right.
Right? So we hope that amidst all the pecan that Kenny and I throw for each other and all these different things, you take in the fact that we both share the same mission. We care about Trinidad and Tobago. We care about our culture. We care about the pan. We care about the music. We is different on the food part. Real bad.
So, two things out of this. I presume that mean Kenny listened to our episode last week, because when we had Dana T in the living room with us, that was one of the things that came up in terms of the culture going forward, that it had to be projected. We didn't use that term, but definitely in terms of preserved and documented, that came up. And secondly, you say there's only love language, so that means you admit that you love Kenny Phillips and Kenny Phillips love you.
That there's a mutual respect between the both of us, yes.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. With AI, I could edit it to make it song anyhow I wanted the song anyway. So
please don't.
But it's good. It's good to know that It's good to know that as a pillar in our cultural foundation, that Kenny has taken you under his wing, and it's good to know that as a young, strong sapling coming up, that you could support the mighty oak. You know, it's good to know that you're developing a working relationship that more contributing than contentious. Because succession and lack of succession in Trinidad and Tobago is that.
Yeah, boy.
I'm not calling you Kenny's successor. I'm just saying that it's good that he's passing on
information to me.
Yeah.
You know, somebody actually said in one of my, I don't want to call it a rant on Sunday, but there was a point in the proceedings where we were talking about the culture, and somebody was saying how we need to stop gatekeeping our culture. Right? And I made the fact that it's not that we gatekeeping it. We need to open the gates, but open the gates in such a way that we protect the foundation of our culture and not lose our true identity. Right? And a person made a comment like, "Wait, boy, Aaron spent too much time with Kenny, he's starting to sound like him." And Kenny was like, "See, you're talking sense now." I was like, I don't know if to take that as a compliment or I don't know, because even before my days with Kenny, a lot of these things I would have said, but they would not have sounded the way that they sound. Because I didn't have the background information to put it across with these points.
So isn't this before you had an opinion?
Yeah.
Now you have a position.
Yes.
All right. I can take that.
And
yesterday alone, you're putting enough hours to to qualify as an expert, you know.
But here now, if it was a class, that was one of Marshall class for the season, because clearly Marshall still going to class.
Or he on the final project, right?
Had to be because the amount of time I see Marshall this one weekend.
Serious? Well, I see he opened for Superior.
But he didn't open. He waved flag.
All right. Nice. And you see how much time you see him for the weekend?
3.
I wonder. He has some comments on.
I see him Sunday. Actually, saw him Sunday morning buying doubles on the avenue.
Serious?
But if he wasn't buying doubles, he was just in the line.
All right.
That was a strange interaction. You driving down the avenue 9 o'clock Sunday morning and you see Marshall in the doubles line. If it was Marshall at all.
For all you know, Marshall right now probably telling people, but you wouldn't believe while I was buying doubles, I see DJ or the 868 pass.
If he really knows who I am and what I look like, I would be flabbergasted. I would to quote one Watson Duke, I would be flabbergasted. I would be blown away. Before we go any further, we did not introduce ourselves. I am DJ Aaron 868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code, and I'm here alongside my bro with no fro but a lot of flow.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the global stage.
And this is the living room on the True Nation station WACK 90.1 FM, the home of culture. Or as I go in and start to say now, the station that don't switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My word, boy. I'm glad that I bring up Marshall, you know. We've seen a lot of mixed reviews and responses to his qualification for Calypso Fiesta, which is the semi-finals of the Calypso Monarch competition. Right? I'm seeing from support, there's one Miss Kanisha Sylvester of the Fresh Press Factory, one of my favorite places to work and to eat. Yeah, she said that
You sure it's really work when you go there? It's just go and eat.
no. I've done some recording and filming and that type of thing there, and every time I go, I eat. And there are also times that I've gone to eat or get food
Alone.
without filming, right? So, that one of my zones. But
Yeah, the chicken and waffles window.
I just saying, and there's some sandwiches, but you know, sandwiches make up my top 5 foods of all time.
But just now, Ricardo, before you go down to talk about the comments about Mr. Montano, we must let you know the 41 persons that will be competing on Saturday are Aaron Duncan, Aaron Sinnett, Alana Sinekan, Alex Gift, Brian London, Caston Cupid, Crystal Charles, Eric James, Ezekiel York, Garth Sinclair, Giselle Fraser Washington, Harmon Bruce, Heaven Charles, Helan Francis, Karine Ashe, Keith Watson, Karine Williams Figaro, Kurt Allen, Marshall Montano, Mark Eastman, Michael Williams, Myron Bruce, Nakasa Tasha Roberts, Nicole Thomas, Naomi Sinnett, Philip Murray, Richard Raj Kumar, Rivaldo London, Roderick Gordon, Romel Lizama, Sean Singh, Selvon Noel, Shamika Dinoon, Stacy Sobers Abraham, Stephen Marcel, Terry Lyons, Victoria Cooper Rahim, Wendy Garrick Thomas, Winston Peters, and the reserve is Arnold Jordan. Unfortunately, our very own Mr. Kenny Phillips did not make it to Skinner Park.
Oh, no.
I know he's crestfallen by that news.
Any Manhattan, you know. Would you send me that list, please?
No problem, I will.
Appreciated. But what I was going to point out, there have been mixed reviews, mixed opinions based on his return to Calypso, and not only that, his entrance and qualification for the semi-finals. I mean, there was judging at, what was the house? It was Divas?
That Divas Calypso Cabaret on Thursday night.
Right. But I'm seeing here that right, Marshall Montano being in the semis and people upset about it. If someone is good, then they are good. Why must they sit out for others to achieve? No, work your 36 off. This is for across the board because people steady want others to sit out to give them or others a chance. Sincerely, a hard worker who does not always come out on top but stays dedicated to improving self. And I could completely agree with that. If Marshall drop a Kaiso and is a big Kaiso and the man could perform and he get the points and he qualify accordingly, I see no reason why he cannot or should not compete. Not because he's already a big fish mean he should sit out something that he could make a valuable contribution for so that other people
But he's a big fish in another pond. And follow me carefully here. Marshall Montano is a big fish in another pond. He get through a little tributary now, and he is now a regular fish in a big pond.
Noted.
Admittedly, Kaiso is not soca. If he has been going to classes and stuff like that, and Chalk Dust, Dr. Hollis Liverpool is one of his lecturers, he would understand that Kaiso ain't soca. You could be the best whiner on top of the class, but you can't go and whine in Skinner Park like that.
Right.
Stay with me here, guys. Now, again, this is my opinion on the matter. Marshall is now a regular fish in a big pond. What I have an issue with, however, you see the radio stations that now all of a sudden no Kaiso exists? You, my friend, are the problem. I just downloaded a folder on off my email. Thank you very much for doing this caption. There were 136 Kaisos recorded this year. Why are you coming to tell me and act like Marshall Montano released the first one ever?
Right.
That is my issue. I just called 41 names, but 40 other names beside Marshall. How much at all they had know any one of them Kaiso before?
Well, I'm pretty certain a couple of people know DNA.
For me, DNA is not Kaiso.
So what are you doing there?
He went and he sang.
Right.
As Kenny said, he went in the bullpen.
I see Aaron Duncan.
Aaron Duncan has a very lovely Kaiso called character.
Hey, Richard Rajkumar, who all might better know as Chromatics, with two party. I hope you listening. I'm trying to get an interview this man, but from time I see that video drop that Saturday morning.
No, that was a winner one time. Karina, she has a lovely one. Let me make sure I say the name right. No excuse. Terry Lyons, all again. All in all, I love me some Terry Lyons.
She doing another one of them shows this year?
Probably I had to ask her. Yeah, probably later down in the year, because she has one called Play Pan Man. And in the judges' night at Kaiso House over the weekend, she performed with Flogo.
Okay. Nice, man. So, all of these people that you know anything, you inside for sure Sunday then?
Saturday?
Next week Sunday for the masquerade. I know you're there Saturday.
Hey, I'll actually work in the masquerade, and then on Sunday I'm heading across to Tobago for Panorama.
Anyway, you know what? Cool, family vacation. Enjoy yourself.
What family vacation you talking about?
you and your godfather going to Tobago for Pan. That's nice.
Anywho.
But here the catch before people feel his rounds of applause right through. There's another point of view that quote unquote all you feel Marshall stupid. No soca monarch, no cash. I go in somewhere have cash. Back to the soul.
You know my co-worker is actually of that opinion. She spent 35 minutes yesterday telling me how Marshall is only in it for the 500,000 on the car.
Yeah, I don't think he's only in it for 500,000 on a car, because based on what it is he with a rack per performance, that's a drop in a bucket you are custom filling.
No, but I'm not going to say that, because for those of you that don't know, right?
You don't have to compete to win that. He could show up and get it.
And show up, he could just go and say, hey, ha.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not $250,000 per syllable, but
no, but really and truly, nobody really knows the real purpose or the real reason behind his performance here. There's reason to perform. We are only speculating. And as we have learned, he's an avid listener of the station. So at some point, we would hope that he provides us or furnishes us with the opportunity for an interview to ask the questions as to why jump in the guile.
And also, I want to salute his choice of facial finish, because the other day a man told me that I looking like Marshall. I've been growing this goatee in this manner for quite some time, right? As far as I'm concerned,
Marshall
I do look like Montano. For your information, Montano start looking like me.
I see what you did there.
Righto.
Hey, as you talk about looking like you, hear not. So Sunday while at Pan semis, right? Now, Ricardo has been my friend for umpteen years before this current iteration and version of ourselves, all right? And Sunday I sit down in front of the grandstand where we were located, and I see a man in a white hat. I say, but this man looking like Ricardo? I see he dipping a cooler, but I see this man mannerisms looking like Ricardo.
It looked like a Ricardo.
And the section he was in as well.
Right. Would not have been honestly surprised.
I say, but that look like Ricardo, because the section that he lineman in, the corporate section that he lineman in, look like a corporate section that we have.
Right.
So I decided, let me message Ricardo, where you only know what's standing in a white hat? No, I in Marabella.
Trying
So
to
Card, so
set it.
Cardle's doppelganger
Hmm.
wasn't pan on Sunday.
I hope you had a good time.
But there's something. Again, I try my best not to toot my own horn out.
Mhm.
But over the past weekend, there were some interactions which I have to point out.
Mhm.
Right? On Saturday, well, on Friday night, I went to an event in Cipriani. Right? And a gentleman, while my date went to the restroom, a gentleman stood about 20 feet away from me watching my heart in my eye. And you know what? It's at some point it's become uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So he watch. Then he come, he say, young boy. I say, yes, sir. He say, you just work on weekend? I say, yeah. He's like, you work tonight? I say, yeah. He say, man, thank you very much for playing that 3 hours at Kaiso. I say, okay, no problem. He said, no, really and truly. Because every DJ now running down to play soca and forgetting that Kaiso is part of we thing. So to you, Mr. Mirage, thank you very much for your positive comments. On Saturday, I was pushing my cart in a certain grocery on the cross. And a man walked up to me. He said, boy, you're rolling in the grocery with your bodyguard, aka my brother. I was like, no, we just come to pick up some stuff for mommy. He's like, nah, you and the bodyguard rolling. He's like, I sure see you in the savannah tomorrow. I say, well, yeah, I'll be there. He's like, I ain't sure to go, but at least I might see you on TV. I say, nah, but I think the other network would be covering it on their own and they wouldn't be pulling our feed.
Mhm.
And he was like, nah, man, the other network had to pull all their feed because all their coverage this be, and went on to say some things which I will not repeat.
Right.
So to you, Mr. Phillips, not that Philip, there's another Phillips, and
Right.
no relation at all. Thank you very much for your positive comments. And to Officer Larry, thank you very much for walking me to my vehicle on Monday morning at 2:30 a.m. from the Savannah to Dare Street. Right? Yeah, she walked me straight from the Savannah to my car.
Police escort, Aaron?
Oh, I honestly, Cara, I'm not going to lie to you. I was a bit nervous to walk the street by myself at that hour. And while walking out of the Savannah, I saw the officer and asked, I was like, officer, do you mind walking me to my vehicle? And she obliged without question. She walked me to the corner and stood at the corner until I drove out there. Because she said I will walk for she.
Right.
So she stood on the corner, watched me walk to my vehicle, and wait until I drove out of the street, and then proceeded to walk back across. So to WPC Larry, thank you very much. We always quick to bad talk the police, but we just have to acknowledge them when they do what they are supposed to as well.
Or go above and beyond because she really there to provide personal protection.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate that.
But
go ahead.
Same breath. All yeah. When you see you go to buy food somewhere, to the food vendors, if the people tell you no pepper, please listen. Don't put pepper. If I say I don't want pepper on the food, don't put pepper.
Is this one of those places that distribute condiments, dressings, and ingredients with the same spoon? So it's just a head of pepper on it, or this is the pick up the squeezy bottle. The pick
latter.
up and wait.
If I'm paying you for a service or a product, please adhere to the things that I'm asking for. No pepper means no pepper.
You know, I wasn't going on go in a particular direction, but because you took the time to acknowledge the people who have encouraged and and given you the positive feedback, I feel like I should also do so. But in doing so now, I had to tell a story I would have rather not tell. But anyway, so I went to an event on Saturday afternoon, evening into night. And well, you know me here, and I don't really knock about and thing again. So this is one of the only two things that between the Panman concert and this event, it's pretty much it for me for Carnival. My days are every and any event, Ricardo in it, at an end. But I went to this event, and it was a pleasant reminder that every now and again you had to get out and about and show your face something too. There are people I had not seen in years, I would not have seen since before the pandemic. There were people who had not seen me in long enough that it was the first time they could have seen me to tell me things like they see the little posts that I was doing where I was sitting on the steps, the step episodes. I just call them step episodes. And, they were like, hey, thanks for doing those things. And there was one in particular that, was really encouraging and just look forward to seeing it and thing. And I was like, yo, my little minute at TikTok was make a difference to people, boy. And I felt, well, all right, not bad at all, man. Now, earlier in the night, I had seen Jason Williams on entry as he walked into the event. So I took the time to acknowledge that, hey, keep up the good work. I love what it is you're doing. And I mentioned to the people I was live with that I'd met Jason Williams more than 20 years ago in Tobago, and we play football on a beach back, right? So I say to know that, look how he come up from this hyperman sweating with strangers on the beach to the positions that he in and the things that he's done. I just wanted to encourage him. So I didn't know that before the course of the night I would have been on the receiving end of that type of thing. Because amongst a man that we interview for the podcast, the Inquisitive Minds podcast with Brendan James, it was Shane Wilson. So this man, hey Ricardo, way. And I'm watching the man and I know the man, And then it's like, wait now, you say, yeah, you interview me, ting. Boy, the positive space and the type of conversation all they're having and people just be listening and, just the encouragement that you're having a kind of conversation that people need and they enjoy. And sometimes they ain't sure where to find it now. So it's good that we creating these types of spaces. I feel good. I feel like, yeah, boy, to meet the people that you had this kind of exchange and interaction with in real time. And it's still a positive vibes and a good energy. I say, yeah, boy. And then I bounce up an ex-brethren. He's like, hey, press man, boy, Ricardo, boy, ting. You say, yeah, boy, I like what you're doing here. Keep it up, man. Ting. I was like, hey, boy. The one time I jump out myself, I get 2-3 pat on my back. And it's like, yeah, boy, the views on them mightn't be 100, 1,000, right? But at the end of the day, while impact isn't, well, feedback don't necessarily mean impact. It's still good to get feedback about the impact now. That being said, I also had some conversations with other people in the event about one or two things that I'd noticed that I was uncomfortable with. And lo and behold, I get up the next morning and realized that a young lady had lost her life in the event. And I see people posting all kind of things and I wanted to stay out of it, but I want to acknowledge that being in that space, I get the opportunity to get some positive feedback from people. So I should use the opportunity to make a definitive statement. Earlier, I'm not seeing anybody at fault, but I want to definitively state that both vendor and patron has some responsibility for the safety. Now, I know when I went to use the bathroom, I saw signs, I saw fence, I saw railing, and I saw security/police personnel patrolling the perimeter. That being said, I also completely understand why somebody would make a bad decision at that hour of the morning and take a risk I would not have taken. What I want people to remember unfortunately, going into this season is a judgment, is a thing that is compromised by alcohol and fatigue. I want us to remember that we have a personal responsibility for our decisions. I want us to remember that we have a responsibility for the people that we go with. I want us to remember that we have a responsibility to the people around us as a society. I'm not pointing any fingers, I'm not casting any blame, but I want people to understand that if all you do is take a chance using the bathroom and your number call, I want us to be mindful of the fact that after the party, hopefully, you have a life to return to. Let us not take reaching back home for granted. Let us not take rest for granted. Let us not take hydration for granted. Let us not take eating for granted. Let us not take our friends and family's safety for granted. I'm sure I'd have a lot of people out here feeling varying amounts and intensities of responsibility for the way that this weekend unfolded. I want us to not lose the moment. This thing, this carnival, this party thing, I'm not gonna bash it. I was in it for years, Aaron. But Aaron, I will tell you, I am horribly uncomfortable standing up in a party and all I hear in the MCs and the hype men and them balling is, tell me which one of your partners is the alcoholic one. Tell me which one of your partners is the one with the drinking problem. And people holding up drinks and fist pumping and waving and pointing to each other. I grew up in a home. My father was a dedicated service to the fraternity. A dedicated service to Alcoholics Anonymous. I know for a fact and has witnessed for myself that go poor luck, yes, see poor luck, and what might be a 2-drink and a 2-line for you is a life-changing problem for somebody else. So I find it hard to be celebrating certain aspects of this thing. Right? Let me not be quick to judge. Let me not be so quick to throw stones when we have all lived in or will live in glass houses. I'm not condemning anybody for the choices, but what I'm saying is let us not, one, take responsibility out of it, and 2, let me not forget grace. So it's a double-edged sword that I hit on it tonight. Be responsible, but also don't be so quick to condemn. Because it's only by the grace of God that any of us still out here. And I know I went on in a space here, but it had to be said here. Because I was there the night, and I left probably 10 or 15 minutes before that incident occurred. And I will tell you for a fact, one of the reasons we leave, I was just starting to feel uncomfortable because there's not a space for me anymore. So I'm not condemning anybody for wanting to party or wanting to lime or needing a breather or this or that or the other. Right? But I'm just asking only to not take being able to do it safely for granted. And more importantly, I want to ask that people do yourself a favor. I understand needing a breather, but needing a breather is not the solution to the problem. If your life ain't satisfying enough, it has some changes that had to make. If your life too taxing and toxic, it have changes that had to be made. But don't let your breather be of such import and of such vital necessity. Don't let the breather be of such necessity that it costs you more than you could afford to pay. You need that 2 beers after work, brother man, I'm not gonna condemn you. But you can't be staggering inside every night. You want to jump up, you go ahead and jump up, but you can't be paying back for a jump up in February all March next year. Enjoy yourself, but don't lose everything chasing it. And a good day. You have to talk for 10 minutes straight now.
Wow, I don't think I could do that, Ricardo, because my voice is still coming back. There's a song that comes to mind from Cool Dubois. It's called Life After Fete. I'm trying to Google the lyrics of the song, but basically he's trying to send a message that There's a life after fete, and you must go back home. No matter how much, as Carlos said, you want to take that break, that escape, you have to remember that there's a home for you to go back to after. It could be a home that you may not be fully content with. A place that you are not, that the break you are taking could be you saying, hey, what's going on? The stress is too much. Let me go and take a break. But you have to remember you had to go back home. So don't take it for granted that you reach where you're going safe and you reach back home safe. Because I, for one, can tell you, I have made some very questionable decisions in my past. When I would go to an event and leave that event to go to the next event, then leave that event to go to the next event. Very well knowing that I'm tired. And I don't know how I'm reaching back home after to drive. I don't know if I'll be able to drive. But you know what? The line was sweet. They say with age comes wisdom. But with experience comes wisdom as well. Understand that you need to know your body, know your limits. But also, most importantly, you need to know that praising toxicity and toxic activities and behavior is part of the reason why we are the problem that we are in today. Praising substance use and abuse, praising alcoholism, praising overdo is part of the reason why we are in the situation that we are in. And as Ricardo said, he realized that that space is not for him. It takes a while to reach to that space to know what is for and not for you. But what we ask of you here in the living room is for you to be self-aware. Understand that sometimes that gut feeling that you get to say, hey, stay home, could be God telling you or protecting you from something. That gut feeling you get that you might have to run to the bathroom before you leave home. And all you know, for some reason, that's something that's happened to me very often. Or God telling you, hey, you decide all of a sudden you're driving up here and you just happen to take a left turn, all of a sudden you pass down the bypass when you're supposed to go up the highway. You never know. Sometimes you have to follow your gut. And this is something I have been advocating for a lot. Fellas, the older you get, I'm trying to find the most politically correct way to say this, huh? Fellas, if you are married or in a stable relationship, there is no reason for you to go out hunting when the night comes. Treasure what you have with your families, because I have seen many a fella go chasing a tail and end up in situations that put home in jeopardy. I would say the same for the ladies. Don't jeopardize what you have at home. Kerwin said have a life after fete. Last year I told you there's a life after carnival. But all in all, there's a life that you have to live. Make sure and make wise decisions. Make sure and make safe decisions for you to be able to enjoy that life, not just today or tomorrow, but 10 or 15 years to come, should God grant you that life to live. With that being said, condolences goes out to the family of the young lady that lost her life. It was really heartaching to read that article on Sunday afternoon. While in the midst of all the revelry at Panorama Semis, our family was mourning from that incident that took place.
And not only that too, but also is a reminder to the vendors, to the service providers, to the promoters and thing out here too. You could do the most. You could do the most at the end of the day when you're dealing with
inebriated people,
crowds of people, when you're dealing with alcohol consumption, when you're dealing with, the level of responsibility that people has take on for events. And I know for a fact that this thing hit people in a kind of way. What I'm saying is my heart goes out to the young man, because at the end of the day you just went with mamas to use the bathroom, to take a leak, and your whole life changed. I cannot imagine what it is he's dealing with on a personal level. I cannot imagine what it is for that child when you had to ask,
where mommy?
hey, what I'm saying is, let me have some grace and let me have some compassion, because it's easy.
I always say that the watchwords of Trinidad and Tobago are discipline, tolerance, production, and by extension, subsidy and here for the comments. But you see that last one? We need to drop that one. Because all of a sudden, everybody is Horatio.
Everybody's Matlock.
Good Matlock, there's no way here that one. Everybody all of a sudden is Grissom.
And Perry Mason.
The list could go on and on. Right, guys, we need to be kind in the comments. I know that's what it is. Be kind in the comments. With that being said, as you're saying, be kind. One person that we need to be kind to and be thankful for is Mr. Shamar Joseph.
So if we need to come up with a living room special commendation, a slow clapper, or something.
Something, because I was out like a light by 8 o'clock Saturday night. And I woke up around 1 o'clock to use the bathroom. But the TV was on, and it was on cricket. And I saw 100 for 2. I said, all right. If we could pick up 2 quick wickets, this game could too. And I fall back asleep. When I woke up at 6 o'clock, because I had an event to go to for 7:30, I see we win.
You swear, is that a different game?
No, I closed the app and I opened it back to make sure.
Right.
Then I see Shamar Joseph 7 for 68. I was like, but this man didn't break it too or something that he saw yesterday.
Yeah, understand.
So to you, Mr. Shamar Joseph, you are walking proof and a living testimony that if you believe in yourself, you apply the work and put in the work, you can achieve anything. But not just the Shamar Joseph. You see the other young men who made their debuts in this tough series and stood up and put their hands up to be counted. This is proof as well. I think it was Sir Alex Ferguson, probably, as a Man U fan, so I'm a little biased here, who said that if you are good enough, you're old enough. And those gentlemen that made their debuts during this tough series proved that they are good enough to play Test cricket. However, I asked the WICB to protect these young men from the hefty IPL contracts which will come knocking.
That's to protect them,
You gotta protect them.
I want to protect them,
Yeah, you have to protect them. You know what? We gotta gatekeep them.
Why you saying is it was brilliant. A couple nights this week, I went and take nap and thing to get back up 11:30 and 12 to watch cricket this week, here. Like I really reached where I'm going.
Yes, not night all again?
Yeah, but I also wanted to make sure I could stay up late if I had to. And not only that, I had a couple my week was challenging. So I take him a little nap and again after I watch at least a little session or 2 sessions before I go and sleep or whatever. When I realized this cricket playing, I watching these young boys and them, it start for me with the silver, right? With the 79.
And Kadeem Hodge.
And Hodge. See, them fellas and them the standing up, they're raising the hand. I say, all right, no problem. Get up the morning, realize 193 we going down. I say, I watch my brother. I say, that 216 though. That 216 they had a chase. I said, the way this wicket going.
No, before you even reached that, when we made it 3-something in the first innings,
Who telling the
and
story?
kept, that's now.
All right, go
And
ahead.
interjecting.
All right,
And Kevin Sinclair make the 50.
Mm-hmm.
And then Australia, for me, I find it was a cocky move to declare. He's still chasing.
Why you would declare? I guess they wanted to get a couple overs in the night, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
But you have to feel like a fool, Aaron, to
And
declare
Chase
with
trailing.
one wicket remaining, to declare 22 runs down with one wicket remaining and lose by 8. You have to feel like a fool.
You know what? I forget which one of the cricketers it said that. What was the comment he made that Craig Braffett made reference to?
Oh, I hog talking about I sure could find it fast the way
Yeah.
them fellas get on. But it was this very disparaging remarks. Right? But I wondering about 289 for 9. Why would they declare while the chase like they're so confident that they could run it down, whatever it is, right? That you want to get a wicket, and admittedly they get Chandapal wicket tonight, right? Alright, okay, so in one sense that might have paid off. But you had to feel like a fool to have to chase 216 and lose by 8 when you declared behind.
You know what?
That's a cod swallow up.
You know what?
Tomfoolery.
Cool.
I glad I put a but Ashama. When I was watching, I actually watched cricket until they needed the last 2 wickets and I went in for the tea, which would I guess would have been lunch. But I really couldn't make to stay up that 40 minutes and then watch to see what happened after that. But I went to bed comfortable, feeling that even if Shamawa watching this youth man take them wickets in the style that he did,
With a raw pace.
the man was a hurricane force.
And the comments are that Rodney Hogg, my apologies, Rodney Hogg said that he described the West Indies team as hopeless and pathetic. Pathetic.
Right.
So to you, Rodney Hogg, your comments were hopeless and pathetic. But thank you very much for them, as they motivated us to put out one of the best test displays I have seen from the West Indies for some time, because we know test cricket is few and far between these days.
But Aaron, we draw a test series with Australia, having beaten Australia in Australia first time in 27 years, right?
Yeah.
We didn't win. How the series with India and England turn out to?
England, I can't remember what England, I think, came out and drew that match or won the match or something.
Anyway, what I'm saying is,
See if I can find that by the
for one, I will gladly take being eliminated from the Cricket World Cup if it meant this kind of dramatic changing of the guard and these young fellas and them being given the opportunity to rebuild and to craft a new season of West Indies cricket. I have never been as proud. Well, no, not never, but I'll be honest with you. From secondary school days and primary school days of watching Brian Lara drag West Indies cricket across finish lines, to now, Aaron, when we went and we watched India and
England won that test by 28 runs.
Right. And how the ODIs and the T20s turned out. What I'm saying is we're starting to see systemically improvement. Now, yes, of course, you're gonna get a little 3-day test match and them kind of things still, right? But considering the age of these fellas, Aaron. Now, when I mean the age, as in the matches under the belt and thing.
At least 8 of these players played under 10 test matches, you know.
Men,
and you're going up against an Australian bowling attack with Hazelwood, Stark, and Cummins, and then one of the top spinners in the world right now, Nathan Lyon.
Nathan Lyon, like, watching him bowl had me holding my breath every ball, you know.
I thought he was a Jadeja fan.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, Nathan Lyon is something. It's something special on
but really and truly, guys, we again, just like how we quick to lambast the police, be quick to train the towel for West Indies cricket. We also have to give them the flowers, boy. And I felt really proud on Sunday morning. I saw a tweet saying that a man went to church and he passed up homily, and his sermon was about West Indies cricket. And he was saying that just shows how much of a unifying force West Indies cricket is. And I know we're getting perilously close to the hour 7 p.m. and I think I want to make this point here. There are certain unifying forces in the world. And in Trinidad and Tobago, I just talk about Trinidad and Tobago. You see Carnival, you see Pan and Kaiso, you see we food, you see West Indies cricket and Pekong. Those are unifying forces that bring us all together. You don't have to know somebody, but you can stand up for hours and talk to a man about West Indies cricket, or about what when Kirkwood talk about nobody ain't gonna know, or when Chuck does talk about he had to learn arithmetic. I don't know if you're familiar with these Kaisos. Or when people talk about when Super Blue come and shake the park in 1993 with Bacchanal time. The catch is, we have so many unifying forces in the world today. So many. And here in Trinidad and Tobago specifically. We should embrace it, embrace what we have. But as I said on Sunday night, don't wait for somebody to come and pick up we thing and make it the own before we embrace what we have. And lastly, as Mr. Shaq said in his songs, well, one of his kaisos for this year, take time and check on your brethren. I said it on Friday and I will say it again today. Pick up your phone, call somebody and ask them, how are you? And you're asking them not from a place to Mako, but from a place of genuinity, if that is a proper way to pronounce that.
I will take it.
Ask them a place that you really care, that you really want to know how your brethren going. Because that phone call to ask them how they're going could be the phone call that talks them off a ledge. Because you never know what somebody is going through. You're looking pensive there.
No, I was thinking about what it is I wanted to close with, and I do remember it had something I wanted to do in the program, and I guess closing is the best way for me to do that. Anyway, when you finish,
I don't.
The inside out.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to say something.
Alright, well then let me say something. Last week, I was coming home from a day's work with a client and sat in this taxi, and a young man came into the taxi, sat down, didn't say good afternoon or good evening or anything. I was like, hey, he's youths way. And I go about my business. And then someone else came into the taxi and the youth man come across. We sit down in the car and somewhere along the lines the conversation drifted to the taxi driver talking about an accident that occurred on the southern main road in Marabella. So the talk went back and forth and thinking this. And then the youth man jumped up and he was like, wait boy, and I going to work there now. But I'm looking at him and I'm seeing this youth man in his school uniform. See, this youth man going to work right after school, and it's like, and I'm picking up on midnight. I work in graveyard shift as well. So what's going on here? So I engage a young man in a conversation. He's going to MIC and he's working, and he plans on he's doing electrical engineering and installation. And I want to say that having had a conversation with this youth man, it do have a night since then that I didn't pray for the blessings and future of a young man called Nikolai Hudson. Or is it Huston? Either way, I just want to put it out there that this youth man single-handedly in a conversation in a taxi lifted my spirits with his intentional drive and the way that he's pursuing what it is he wants to give himself a better life, and with a clear-cut path as to the ways that he's going forward. And I stop and I think to myself, what you know with your judgmental self, because the youth man didn't say good afternoon when he come in the car, you're thinking them youths again. But this youth man is leaving school and on his way to work and running late. You know, are you to study? Look at things that this youth man have on the plate and you ain't know nothing about it. You're ready to cast aspersions. But when in conversation with the youth man, I realized that I ain't lie to tell you. I wish I was more like that at his age, or could see some of that in some of the youths around me. Now, I don't know the youth man personally, but what I'm saying is that the experience that I had with him in those couple minutes, I will pray for that man as long as I remember. It have youth out here who trying, and sometimes it's really up to us as the elders, as the older folk, to stop being the way that we are and get them a space to be who they can become now. On that note, I know I shared a couple unpopular opinions tonight. I just want to say that this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. Thanking you for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Aaron?
This is yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code. Here now, before I go real quick, let's see how much I outside, how much work I'm doing for the season. But you know what else I'm doing a lot of this season? Getting rest. Make sure and get some rest. Stay hydrated. Take your vitamins or your meds or whatever it may be. And also take some time to spend at home with your family. Find that balance between the revelry and the regality of your life. I tell you each and every time that love is the currency, so spend some today. Let somebody know that you love them, guys. Up next is Mr. Desmond with Kaiso to the boot.
Hey, you come back?
Yeah. He come back since last week. Tony P working him like a dog.
Oh, gosh. And the P this week stands for pressure, boy.
Yeah, hey. which Desmond seen all at all.
Hey, but keep it locked.